huge discount to all the people who have paid into it, who we know in the past, and we know this, were never satisfied with the DMDA. It's not the same organization. We have much more community involvement. It's really heartening. But I think this is something that the SID board must consider if we, who selects that board, is overseeing that board. It's just a little blurred line. So now, that's what I wanted to ask you about.
Well,
Take a stab.
I'll take a stab at it. Well, I think you see that. Oh, okay, sorry. I will. That's a good suggestion. I think if you watch those meetings, and I think this is one of the points I want to make, is that we have a very dedicated group of trustees that are volunteers that are working really hard, to make the organization be responsive to the community, to the business owners, to the restaurants. And that's one point, and they're very responsible, and we're working super hard. And I think, again, you got to keep in, I'd like to just point out that, the reason for the bid is to support our businesses. That I know that there's disagreement. I know that people, it's been called, different names. But really the reason is that there's a 17% vacancy rate. We're heading into a COVID, we're heading into a COVID winter. I think it's going to be a very difficult environment for our businesses. And we've put into place social media ads, and we're doing a lot to support our businesses right now. And in terms of loans, if you listen to the meeting, I think that the board was concerned that if you were to take out the ability for the SID to borrow money right now, it's possible that there might be a government program that might be at zero interest that we might be able to offer our businesses at some point. I mean, what if things got worse? We don't want to tie our hands, and I think that was the gist. The other thing is that anything that the SID does has to be approved by this board, and I think that's very clear. And I don't think that there's any. I don't think that there's. I don't think anybody's looking to borrow any money. I think we're just looking to support our businesses. So, Mayor, do you want to jump in?
I think that is 100% correct. That the bid SID board will have oversight with their board of trustees that are residents, property owners, merchants, TC representation, as well as the TC will have financial oversight. So should an opportunity arise, or should a program that that the board of trustees of the bid wants to reach out for, it may be a situation where they are expecting to collect certain revenues and may not have them for a shortfall. I'm just surmising of a situation. So they may need to, for the township to borrow for a short-term basis. This gives them some flexibility with, of course, board approval of the township committee.
And I think it was said you're going to be on that board next year?
I anticipate to be, yes.
Right. So this is where the lines are blurred. I'm just looking for the protection of the tens of property owners and merchants who had gotten in touch with us as a TC board, who really asked us. The SID can be a wonderful thing. It just, they were asking not to do it yet. So if we said, okay, we won't charge you to 2022. You really don't know what those fees are going to be. So I think it's protective to say that money would not be borrowed, because I don't think personally that the residents' tax dollars necessarily, who they don't have a say in that, should be put on the hook for that.
But the residents have elected these officials to be fiduciary responsible individuals and oversee the bid SID.
So let's be responsible.
Let me finish, please. Unlike the previous DMDA, the township committee did not have financial or any kind of fiduciary oversight. That's what makes this different. So you will be one of the five. Should the need arise where the bid SID would have to borrow money, it would not happen unless the TC has oversight and approval of those fiduciary expenses.
Okay, is that a 3 TC vote, Alex, or a 4 TC vote?
The approval of the budget is three.
The approval, not of the, first of the budget, is 3.
Yes.
And if they decide, if the SID decides they have this opportunity to borrow X amount of dollars from,
So,
and then we have to approve that. Is that a 3-person vote or a 4-person vote?
so much like the township itself, I would imagine that the SID Board of Trustees would need to incorporate any such, again, in this circumstance where you're projecting that they go out for debt, would need to be included in their budget. And they'd need to account for, how that's being allocated in their budget. It's not something where they can, again, to Mr. Footer's comments before, is not something where they can provide, go through that budget process and say, all right, well, the property owners are on the hook for this. I think they're going to have to provide that in their budget, and to Committeewoman Mayor Lieberberg's point and Committeeman Wasserman's point, and even your point, is that the protection lies in that budget comes back here, and the Township Committee is going to have to decide whether they feel that is necessary for them to borrow money, whether they feel it is right for them to borrow money, whether you want to take the heat for allowing them to borrow money and put that in their budget. There is a protection there, I think, in terms of, when it comes back to this committee who has been prescribed to do that in the bylaws, that adds a protection to it. But it would be, so my long answer is 3.
Okay, so my interpretation is this, that it's not, if it's been the budget, they should ask for it in their budget. And in my interpretation is it's something, as they all said, the unknowns, because we don't know, what if there's an opportunity 6 months into a SID year that they say, oh my God, we want to do this, there's this loan available. So it's not in the budget, it's outside the budget, and not, it would have to be, again, brought to the TC independently and voted. And how many TC votes would it
3.
take to approve that?
3.
Okay. So I think that we should be more protective of, what the monies are going to be spent, the unknown. We know what we know, and we don't know what we don't know. And I think that the SID should be able to stand on its budget, and that should be what they expect to spend. And if there's grants available or 0 interest loans, but I do not believe that it's appropriate to have it open-ended when their budget can change at any time, according to Andrew Morgan, and you all agreed. And then they can come to us at some later point and say, oh, you know what, we want to borrow this chunk of money. And then you've now promised the property owners it's not going to be on them, it's going to be on the residents. So that's not sitting that comfortably with me, I will be honest with you. And so, Richard, okay, so I guess Mr. Footer, I don't know if he's on there.
Well, let's continue with old business. Is there any other items of the committee under old business?
Alex, is there going to be snow pickup on tomorrow and storm or Thursday? I've been asked by people.
I'm sorry.
Will there be garbage pickup?
Oh.
If there's a blizzard? What happens?
Tomorrow for sure.
And-
Thursday it will be touchy. It will likely not happen depending on the significance of the storm, but we will certainly alert our residents if that is canceled.
By reverse 911, just to those areas that have garbage pickup?
That's correct.
Okay,
And
got
also
it.
on the website and those and our social media channels.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any member of the committee that has any other items of old business to discuss?
I'd actually like to just say something.
By all means. Yeah.
Thank you. Before a public comment, I just want to thank the town for the honor and privilege of serving this community for the past 6 years. And I want to thank thank all my co-committee people. I appreciate the years that we've served together, for some more than one. I wish you an interesting time. You have some good projects ahead of you. I think it will be interesting to watch how everything plays out and to be a participant in that. I really want to wish Jimmy good luck. It has been a privilege watching you develop in your role, and I'm very happy for you that you have a significant role that you are moving into. And finally, I really want to thank Alex and your staff and Christine for your support and guidance over the years. I think just to this committee, be aware, I think you have probably the best of the best in Millburn, and use them for their knowledge, their guidance. They're really fabulous, and I don't think we could have any better than we have. So thank you for your service to the community. To Maggie and Sanjeev, good luck, and I look forward to seeing what happens in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does any committee member have an item of new business to address?
Yes, I do. Alex, I had sent you a article from the New York Times about 911's having a special social services professional. And since our joint 911 is multi-municipalities, is this something that has come up on the joint 911 to have somebody within the office, the, what do you call it?
The dispatch center?
The dispatch, yeah. So was that something that they have ever considered? Is that something they should consider talking about?
To my knowledge, this has not been discussed yet. However, we did just recently get a new executive director at the Mountain Valley Emergency Communication Center, and so new ideas, new thoughts are still flowing through as they get the lay of the land with the job. So I would anticipate that some ideas will pop, but this one in particular has not yet.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be the joint 911 liaison, but obviously you will be. So I think if that's something you can bring up, I think that could be an important step forward, because this is an issue with emergency, and I know from being on the squad, this is a big issue, mental health calls.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And my last thing, I know we had spoken about putting plexiglass dividers up here, and I know we're all excited for the reorg to have Maggie and Sanjeev sworn in. And we only have 4 people sitting up here, and if we have 5, I'm wondering what your feedback from the DPW was about putting plexiglass so we can have a more comfortable and safe seating arrangement up here.
Yeah, it's difficult, in particular, to put plexiglass up there, as we have to get everything cut to a particular shape to be there. That's not always going to necessarily be there with other boards that may be coming into the building and things like that.
Well, I mean, removable, not permanent.
No, I understand. However, based on the current situation, we were able to function. I think that sort of has to be addressed or evaluated with the oncoming committee members and see what best to do. But if that is the case, we will have some time to do that. However, I don't know that would 100% impact the reorg, but certainly able to look into it.
It's soon. It's January 1st, the reorg?
January 5th, yeah.
5th, and we do anticipate to have 5 members up here and a limited audience participation.
Correct, and I mean, I'm not sure that I'm sort of in a position to comment on the efficacy of plexiglass and how that would work up on the dais, but certainly something that I can ask Jim DeSanto, who I did ask already, but I know that he had difficulty in locating it at that time to purchase it and cut it and get it sized right for the dais. So, but I appreciate your comment. I'll make sure that I ask further.
We want to continue to be safe up here.
Sure.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Public comment. When invited to speak, please come to the lectern, clearly state your name and address, and speak loudly so your comments may be understood. There was also a properly noticed remote option for those who could not attend. If you call in and would like to comment, please press *6 now. Whenever an audience or committee member reads from a prepared statement, please email a copy to our township clerk, townclerk@millburntwp.org, to help facilitate an orderly meeting. You will be prompted when there is 30 seconds remaining, and you will be limited to one 3-minute session. This is a business meeting, and please do not address professionals or staff directly, and please direct all your comments to me. Each individual will be given one opportunity. I will now open the public comment period.
Yes, hi. Jean Pasternak, 342 Hobart Avenue. I have a few comments and some questions. As a former elected official for the Millburn School Board, as well as a 23-year tax-paying resident, I have found attending these meetings regularly this year, there's an astonishing lack of transparency and accountability. It's my profound hope that the newly constituted Township Committee will follow the laws and regulations for New Jersey municipalities to the letter and spirit, and will not continue this year's pattern of poor information sharing, rejection of public debate on important issues facing our town, businesses, and residents, and will welcome all public input, especially that which is in disagreement. Contrarians often have the right answers in hindsight. They have the right to be listened to with respect and your full attention. Millburn residents, businesses, and taxpayers are entitled to a full accounting of how their taxpayer funds are being allocated and spent. We should understand fully the sources of these funds. Why are we not routinely seeing a bill list, check register, and all details regarding our funds entrusted to you? Sorry. I was shocked to learn that the municipal attorney's law firm received over $500,000 this year. That's a lot of money relative to the township budget. How did this $500,000 spent on legal fees to a single law firm come to be? He was paid a lot of money, yet the township committee was given advice that resulted in not complying with the law. This question was raised formally by a member of the public, and there was no answer from any township committee member. We're entitled to know this and understand it, and we should get an answer, and it shouldn't be lingering. So I hope we can get an answer this evening. 3, what's the source of funds for the Taylor Park Art Project? I think it was already brought up. I'm not sure I still really understand. Are these monies coming from somewhere this year, or is that for next year, or where is that money coming from? 3rd, what's the monies as far as the SID budget again, to be clarified? I think it was stated that the monies for this coming year and next year, I believe, were coming from people retiring, and then therefore this year's budget, that money from retiring people will be used for the SID budget this year and next year. If that's not the case, could that be clarified? And I just want to add, the mayor at the SID meeting made the comment, the TC provides checks and balances, and you repeated that again tonight. I hope you'll honor your words. Will you tonight move to amend the SID ordinance to ensure without any doubt that there will be no risk to Millburn businesses of their hard-earned tax dollars paid to Millburn in the form of an assessment allowing the SID to borrow or purchase beyond their budget? And lastly, although it's been asked many times before, the question has gone unanswered. We're entitled to an answer. What was the federal investigation that started 3 years ago about? Did it involve the police department, public works, township committee? We should know whatever information is possible to share with the public as we are paying for the legal defense involved in this investigation. In closing, thank you for your volunteer work, those retiring, and best of luck to those of you who are leaving the committee. Happy holidays.
May we have a few on the?
Yes,
Zoom
let's proceed.
Yeah, they're there.
Mr.
Yep.
Futter?
Oh,
Hello. Yes, thank you. I have a statement. On December 1st, I appeared before you and delivered a statement regarding the ability for the SID to be able to borrow money and place the repayment of loans and interest for those loans as an encumbrance on commercial property owners and stakeholders. Mayor Lieberberg and Committeeman Wasserman said that the SID could not do that without Township Committee approval and that they did not see that as anything that would happen, and furthered such comments as stating that the Township Committee would have final decision making to prevent that from happening. I asked for Ordinance 2561-20 to be amended to state that property owners are indemnified against future financial encumbrances due to loans incurred by the SID, and that the ordinance should state that any loan repayment and interest due on loans to the SID be forbidden from being included in succeeding years' SID budgets and from being passed on to commercial property owners through assessment. You stated it could be addressed by the SID's bylaws. The comments from me and from you sounded as though we were agreeing on the issue, but you were reluctant to amending the ordinance to give commercial property owners any protection through the ordinance. After some further exchange between us, the last word mentioned coming from the Township Committee was, quote, "Give us until our next meeting. We will deal with it," unquote. You promised me that it would be discussed at this meeting, and it's not even on the agenda. A couple of days after that Township Committee meeting, a strong suggestion was given to me to prepare a written statement to read to the SID Board of Trustees regarding this issue. I didn't agree with it, as I believed then, and I still do believe, that this should be addressed in the ordinance and not in their bylaws. However, I did prepare a written statement, sent it in to be distributed to the board trustees, and waited for confirmation of distribution as I had requested. I was told at the beginning of their meeting that they had not received it, so I started to inform them with an overview, but was told by the board chairman that it would be taken up later in the agenda. The attitude as I read it was dismissive. I respectfully stopped and waited for the appropriate time during the meeting to continue. When my topic came up for discussion, I was not given the opportunity to iterate the points. Again, no one had seen my letter, but Mr. McDonald did have it ready to show and share on his screen. Mr. Wasserman chose to speak to my issue. I don't recall ever having to need or want for anyone to present my case in my stead. He named the topic, chose to give a brief paraphrase of what I had presented before the Township Committee on December 1st, left out significant points, and then took a sharp left turn and presented his own opinion as he did at the Township Committee meeting. What I learned from the December 8th SID board meeting: board members were asked to vote on my issue without all the facts. Board members are not knowledgeable of the state laws surrounding SIDs. Board members were never given the opportunity to be knowledgeable that the SID could borrow money, yet still indemnify property owners and stakeholders from the encumbrance of loan and interest repayment. Board members may not be able to amend their bylaws. The SID bylaws are incorporated in the SID ordinance 2561-20. The Township Committee could not amend the SID bylaws via a resolution. A resolution cannot amend an ordinance. Only an amending ordinance can amend an ordinance. The board chairman was dismissive, verging on disrespectful in his attitude to me. This SID is not and will not be responsive to and representative of those parties paying for the existence with that attitude. Thank you very much. I wish those retiring well, and Jimmy, I wish you the best of luck in your new endeavors. Thank you.
Maybe we still have 3 on Zoom, whichever way you want to go.
Ms. Urso can go next.
Good evening, Perry Urso, 506 Millburn Avenue, Short Hills. I'd like to first take a moment, wish Committeewoman Burstein, and tell her how grateful we are for her commitment and service to our community and this committee, serving as TC Committeewoman and Mayor, a true townswoman. You will be greatly missed, and we thank you. Mayor Lieberberg, sadly, I didn't know you before the SID. However, knowing that you will be leaving behind a disaster of a legacy called the SID, your lack of trust, transparency, and respect will never be forgotten. You had the opportunity to unify the 5 districts, lead by example, and you have failed to do so. I hope your successors will learn from your mistakes. I do echo Mr. Futter's statements. We strongly urge the committee to take a pause on the SID ordinance for the following reasons. The entire process was rushed. There was absolutely no buy-in with the expanded district. 3 of the committee members' votes were tainted in the process. Those who voted in the favor of this ordinance, I truly believe, don't even understand what they have voted yes for. 1 member is leaving, 1 member is still involved with litigation, and the other has really truly no qualifications towards this committee and oblivious to the tax portion of what the burden is going to be on the commercial tax property owners. Additionally, how many of the TC members would be affected after the 16 months when the SID would be solely posed on commercial property owners? And who gives you the right to use the entire community's tax money for something commercial property owners don't want, they're not asking for, and they don't need the help? It's simply shameful. A pause would give the taxpayer an opportunity to ask to speak with the incoming TC members, be open to discussion so they can fully understand, hear our comments and concern, and why not the SID. Perhaps as new members, they will have the courtesy to let us be heard. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Enjoy the holiday season. Stay safe.
Ms. Stone? No, please.
She's not ready. Go to Zoom.
I like to hear what people have to say, Jackie, you know that.
We have Sarah Sherman.
Sarah Sherman, South Mountain Civic Association. I would like to thank both Cheryl Burstein and Jackie Benjamin Lieberberg for their service. I want to say that Ms. Burstein was a former South Mountain resident and member of the association. I've worked with her on the ad hoc traffic committee for South Mountain and Washington, and I have been serving with her on the Millburn Public Library Board. Mayor Lieberberg, you have always been responsive to the needs of your constituents, and you have been adept at bringing community groups together. I will always associate you with the Mill Wheel Project. I met so many people through that, and I think it was one of the most positive events we have had in the community. I wish you both very well, and thank you for your service. And Jimmy, I wish you well as, in addition, in your new endeavors. Thank you.
This is Dominique Urso.
Good evening, thank you. Can you hear me fine?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dominique Urso, residing at 508 Millburn Avenue. I would like to echo the previous public comments of Mr. Richard Footer. I do believe our question should be answered. The board has, majority of the board has not done that and chosen to neglect giving answers to questions, and I don't know the purpose of that, but it's not very professional. I also found it interesting to hear that earlier tonight, Deputy Mayor Prupus' opening statement that I quote, she said, if the public feels they are not being heard, to please reach out. I find this very interesting as herself, Mayor Jackie Lieberberg, and Richard Wasserman and Alex McDonald have failed to answer questions of people's legitimate concerns. So I think that statement is funny and contradictory. As well as her quote saying, thank God Jackie Lieberberg will be helping assist us on the SID. Nobody wants this. That's very, very unprofessional term as well to use. As far as committee member Wasserman saying that Mayor Lieberberg has done a great job helping restaurants and merchants. Maybe this is for downtown, but you're forgetting about Upper Millburn Avenue and all of Short Hills Millburn. Majority of the board has denied when merchants and property owners like my parents and other people asked them and invited into their place of business to have a meeting discussing their concerns of the SID firsthand, and they denied having that meeting. So where is their hearing people's concerns? I find that illegitimate comment. I think it is appropriate to pause the SID until litigation is resolved. Also, as there are new two TC Township Committee members joining in early January 2021, people like my parents and many other property owners would like to speak to these new TC members so they are able to hear their concerns firsthand and how they can help the property owners that are long-term business owners and long-term contributing taxpayers to this town deserve that time given to them and really be heard. With these two additions to the TC, one being Tara Prupis, existing TC member, and Mayor Jackie Lieberberg leaving. This is an opportunity to give a fresh start, to have a new collaborative TC to hear property owners and merchants' concerns about the SID, and hopefully this could change in the new year. We, as property owners, would like to officially ask the whole new TC board to take us up on the offer to meet together on this matter, to hear our opposition, as 3 minutes in a mini meeting is not suffice and does not properly do justice to explain our position and concerns based on this SID. We would like to wish everyone a safe and happy holidays as we are all in this together during these uncertain times. Thank you.
We have Marilee?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Marilee Reesbeck, 91 Whittingham Terrace, Millburn. I would just like to thank Mayor Jackie Lieberberg for her leadership this past year, especially during this unprecedented time of COVID. Jackie, your guidance, sensitivity, patience, and especially your communication to the public have been outstanding. Of course, you've done a great job during all 3 of the years of your term, including last year as deputy mayor. Thank you for all you've done for the community. I'll miss you on the township committee. I do hope you'll continue to remain involved in township activities after you're no longer on the township committee. I would also like to thank Cheryl and Jimmy for all of their contributions to our community and wish them both well in future endeavors. Before I close, I would just like to say that as someone who attends almost all the township committee meetings, that personally I am weary of hearing the endless complaints and attacks on the township committee from the same 5 or 6 residents at every single meeting. Always critical, never constructive. I'm hoping this changes in 2021. On that note, happy holidays and a happy and very healthy new year to everyone.
Next, we have Jennifer.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Hi, Jennifer Bathena, 64 Great Hills Road. First, just want to mention that I appreciate all the time commitment the current committee town members made and continue to make with the best intent to help this town. And want to also thank both the committee women for their service and wish you well in your future. I do have a question about the legal expenses on this town. I've heard that the town has spent something like $500,000 on legal fees this year. I'm not sure if this is a precise number. So what I wanted to ask was, how can we as citizens get the exact number? And more importantly, how can we get a breakdown of what these fees entail? What part of it is being spent on litigation? What part of it is being spent on normal legal proceedings that happen in any other year? So I'd like to understand who I can follow up with for this. And that's it. And wish you all happy holidays. But yeah, who can I follow up on this?
The finance department or the administrator's office would be happy to help.
Is that information I am allowed to get? I can request for it
Of
and I
course.
should be able to get?
Yeah, of course. You can contact the administrator's office at the number is on the website 973-564-7075, and we'll be happy to help you.
564?
7075.
7075. Thank you very much. Happy holidays, everybody.
I have Carrie Strasberg. Carrie?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to take a quick moment to thank Jimmy and Carol for their service.
Carrie, we can't hear you. You're muffled.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We're just going in it. Just wanted to give a big smoochy hug and kiss to Mayor Jackie. Wish I could do it in person. You have been singularly helpful to so many members of our population, and every time the Millburn Ed Foundation ever asked you anything, your answer was simply, "What can I do to help?" Every time the schools have asked for anything, and especially last year's senior class, your answer was simply, "What can I do?" And I think it's a wonderful tribute to you that so many people have mentioned how wonderful you've been to this town. And I was thinking that it's probably your PTO background. And if you can manage and be a great PTO president, you can do anything. So I was thinking that you could maybe recommend to other members of the community who are active in the PTOs to maybe look at the township committee and volunteering in other aspects for the town. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much, and everybody have a great holiday.
Dave?
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
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 Great. This is David Boyko, 30 Farmstead Road in Short Hills. I'm not going to offer a smoochy hug and kiss because I don't think my wife would appreciate that, but I do want to offer a salute and thanks to Mayor Lieberberg for all of her hard efforts and leadership during these unprecedented and trying times we've all experienced during the last year. It's been a long road, but you certainly put your heart and soul into it, and I thank you for that as a resident. We'll miss you as mayor going forward, and best wishes and continued success to Cheryl and Jimmy as they move on, and a safe holiday season to all.
Mayor, the last person already spoke that is on Zoom.
I don't think she put her hand down.
Okay.
I don't think she put her hand down.
Okay.
Did she?
I'm sorry?
Did she put her hand down from the last
Yes.
time? Oh, she.
Okay.
Want to bring one?
I don't know who it is.
Dominique Urso.
Tony Urso.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that. So she's already spoken.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, we'll continue with anybody else who has not had the opportunity to speak.
Jamie Scruto, 77 Jefferson Avenue, Short Hills, speaking on behalf of myself. I just want to thank former Mayor Burstein and Mayor Lieberberg for your service to the township. Having spent, as a lot of the members of the community have said, a lot of time watching meetings remote, coming to meetings, first coming in during Ms. Burstein's beginning of her tenure, and seeing the changes that have gone on, the opportunities that both of you have created, and a lot of the physical things that we've seen in town, and the use of the park, the introduction of the Winter Walk in collaboration with all the business districts, years ago, and just all the, I think, a lot of the innovation that has gone on, and the collaboration with the schools especially. So want to thank you both, wish you the best, wish Jimmy the best, his future, and Happy New Year. Looking forward to a as everybody said, a healthier 2021.
True.
Nancy Stone, 10 Fielding Road, Nancy and David Fine Jewels, and styled by Nancy and David. I want to thank Cheryl for an amazing relationship that we've fostered over the years. You've been a tremendous asset to the business community and helped when asked and very much needed. Jackie, I want to thank you for your service because in spite of our differences, your effort and your heart you wear on your sleeve, and I respect that, and I will always admire someone who volunteers their time and effort, and that's something to be commended. I want you to, at some point, take out your smartphones and Google search the following: New Jersey and the Open Public Records Act and Montclair Business Improvement District. What you'll find is a very interesting article. And it was it was updated in a landmark court ruling issued on Oprah rules for Montclair Business Group, attorneys say. 2000 was updated on 2019, but it was from 2014, not 1958. A state appeals court rules last week that the corporation running Montclair's Business Improvement District is a public agency subject to the Open Public Records Act. Above is a January 10th photo of the commercial district. It goes on and on. But one of the things that it noted in the article, but what started with an email to the group's executive director led last week to what appears to be a landmark court decision declaring that the entity is a public agency subject to the state's Open Public Records Act. You can go on to read it. In the public records that were received, I want to highlight some of the 2020 shameful billings to date. Mr. Falcone billed to date over $550,000. I spoke to friends of mine who are very prominent attorneys. The average bill should be about $200,000. So what does that say to me? That says neither nobody's paying attention to what he's doing, or we're doing something wrong, or you guys are doing something wrong because you're getting sued like heck. Not necessary. I budgeted about $150,000, so I'm going to give him an extra $200,000. So I found 2020 TC spending highlights under this mayorship. Falcone, unnecessary billings, $350,000. The vision plan at this time was not necessary at $189,000. The proposed SID budget at $215,000, not necessary at this time. The TC portion of the executive director salary coming out of the residents or the SID budget, $50,000. That's a grand total of wasted money. Most residents have no clue of $804,000. There's also SID Instagrams that we spent, but I wanted to give you this form, which should appear on the website, from the Montclair, the Open Public Records request form that should appear on your website. And it's just so disheartening because, you know, people spend the time, and for Mary Lee, who I've had lunch with, we've discussed before our differences, it's the same people. And you were part of the same 5 people that showed up to got you to where you are, Tara. And it was the persistence. I'm not interested in being up there, but I do give my time because I do care. And I really, in last note, want to thank Diane because we've been opposite, and I really appreciate the friendship that we fostered in the last year, and we might not agree on many things. That's okay, but you've been open-minded, helpful, and I hope, Sanjeev, that you are open-minded. You showed a hint of that the last meeting, and that's beautiful to see, and I'm really looking forward to that. Maggie, I never saw you at a meeting. This is the first time maybe you've been on Zoom, but I hope you're open-minded to listening to the business people that don't agree with this. And maybe the two of you will be the difference on that board, because we do need the help. The business community is asking for it, and we hope you're open-minded to listening. I welcome you anytime to I have a beautiful store. You're welcome anytime. My door is always open, as Tara knew when she started her venture. Yes or no? My door was open, and I let you in. And I just want you to know that we all have the same goal. Doesn't matter how we get there. It matters how we get there, but it shouldn't be divided. We should be more unified. Happy holidays, and enjoy your retirement. I don't think it'll be a retirement, but whatever.
I just want to wish everyone to stay safe, remain healthy in these extraordinary holiday seasons. And if you have the ability, think of the people that don't have the ability to eat. Make some contributions to various food banks throughout the state, as my family has done for this holiday season. During the holiday season, we're talking past each other. Everyone should take a time out, step back, read the state enabling statute that creates bids. Also go back and read the 1992 ordinance that created the first bid. When you approve a bid budget, and you even go to the state's website, you need 2 hearings. There's a second hearing. You never had a second hearing approving the calendar year 2020 budget for the SID. That's in the original ordinance. It's in the state statute. I've been offering you my help since July. Please listen to me. If you don't listen to me, I can't stop other people for what they will be doing. And they're doing that throughout this county and throughout the state now. Please I want you to stay safe. I'm not here to hurt you. Go back. Do not make statements without reading the state enabling statute first. That's where everything starts from. Look at that. I also sent you the pleadings that were filed yesterday. I don't know if they were delivered to you. Please look at the pleadings that Millburn filed in the Bear Properties case. You need to start examining the work product that's being delivered that taxpayers are paying for. Again, stay safe, remain healthy during this holiday season.
This is only Dominique would like to speak again.
No, we've before we adjourn, I'd like to wish everyone a joyous holiday season, good health, and a safe new year. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Matt would like to have a picture in front of the chair when you're
okay.
done.
Give her the alcohol.
I didn't know if this was appropriate, but